Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time doing another Halloween film review, and this one is on the 2022 film Pearl. Now, as you know, Pearl was a 2022 horror film, which of course was meant to star Mia Goth in the role of Pearl, the same antagonist from the sort of 2022 film X. And I think it's interesting how right after X was completed, doing a prequel right after the first film is actually an interesting move, and it actually does a good job showing what Pearl was like before the events of X. So, the premise of the film is meant to take place in 1918, where a young version of Pearl lives with her German immigrant parents on the farm of Texas. And you kind of get the sense that Pearl still sees and views the world like a child. And given the fact that, her husband Howard is meant to be fighting in World War One, we do see how Pearl's mum has to be a little more stricter with Pearl. She has to get her to understand and be a bit more responsible. And it kind of becomes clear Pearl's dream is to become a star, but right away you get this sort of realization that Pearl just doesn't want to see the reality that that kind of dream might not actually exist. And there are people like Pearl who obviously think they're meant for things when they're not. Throughout the film, it's just Pearl being a deluded, misguided, and childish adult lady living in her make-believe world. And this feels believable because there are some people who obviously believe they are meant for things when they're not. They want to believe that they're meant to be this star, they're meant to be this big-time celebrity, when clearly that sort of thing will never happen. And if people are looking for actual talent, you need to make sure to be in plays, you need to make sure to take acting classes, you need to make sure to understand what the part of the role is. And throughout the film, it's just Pearl bringing people into her world, and slowly the people around her start to get uncomfortable. They're meant to be a little more cautious about her, and Pearl basically axes them off when they do catch wind of her, or when she feels like she can't meet to their standards. And that feels believable when people are dealing with mental illnesses that they don't want to admit that they brought upon themselves without admitting that it affected others. And given the fact that the film also takes inspiration from The Wizard of Oz and even Mary Poppins, I can kind of see where, T.I. West and Mia Goth actually took some inspiration from this. Again, Wizard of Oz and Mary Poppins showed just how much films were improving at the time. Like, obviously, Judy Garland playing Dorothy, this kind of child living in her sort of wanting something bigger, but something amazing. And obviously, Mary Poppins capturing the feel of going to this sort of make-believe world, seeing how Mary Poppins was able to do all these cool and amazing things. But I kind of give also the film credit is just showing the dangers of fantasy, but also reality. Pearl lives in her fantasy world thinking she's meant to be this big star. And when you do see her auditions, it's clear she doesn't really understand that when auditioners are looking for talent, they need to make sure that you're kept in character. They need to make sure that you fit into what the acting role is. They need to make sure that you understand the part of what a performance is. And if you think you've already got that without really doing any rehearsals and so forth, then you're gonna basically crash faster than a Zeppelin balloon. I think Pearl is one of those films that definitely serves as a cautionary tale, that some people are meant for things that they actually know that they can be a little more sensible with. But if it's something that you're aiming too high, then you're going to crash and burn, get yourself into trouble, or it can affect others without thinking through the consequences of your actions. But I think, obviously, it's a good film. It knows it has to be. So it definitely deserves 2 thumbs ups. Definitely a good film, definitely enjoyable, and I think Mia Goth gives the performance of a lifetime as a misguided young adult woman living in Wonderland. So, comic book reviewer here, signing out.